incidentally, just as Egypt is exploding, a brand new network, Al Jazeera America, is launching. It hits airwaves tomorrow. It is already making cable news history, but not in the way you might think. Advertisers are staying so far away from the controversial channel that it's only going to have 6 minutes of commercials an hour. That is less than half the average amount of ad dollars of its competitors. That includes us and Fox News Channel. Some viewers may love that, since, hey, who likes commercials? You don't want to sit through them. It does not bode well for the bottom line, though. It might need a marketing makeover. That's why we have marketing expert Bruce Turkel on hand. We also have Fox News' Middle East analyst, Waleed Faris. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Waleed, let me tackle the issue of bias out of the gate, because people are assuming that this channel is going to be anti-American based on what Al Jazeera in the Middle East has done, you know, airing messages from bin Laden after 9/11. There have been reporters that have quit because they say it's anti-American. Is it fair to assume that Al Jazeera America is anti-American?
Well, what we know is that Al Jazeera English has been very professional. Certainly, it's very critical of American foreign policy. It is very critical of U.S. national security strategy. That is a fact, and many other channels would do the same. But it is really a choice of the editorial board. If they are going to, for example, reflect some of the shows in Arabic that has been very much criticized in the Middle East and here, then yes, that would be a problem. And another quick problem, Melissa, is the division inside the Middle East today. We know this is a channel which is going to be funded by Qatar, but the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, the Jordanians, especially now the Egyptians, are at odd and at war with Al Jazeera there. So will that happen even here? That is something that we have to wait and see for.
Bruce Turkel, is this a mess that advertisers will want to get anywhere near, or are they maybe serving up an audience that you would only get there, and so that's an opportunity to sell them dishwashing detergent?
You said the key word, Melissa. It's all about the audience. The advertisers can find this audience lots of places, and probably at very good cost. So the question is, when will viewers start to tune in? When they do, and when there's enough of them, the advertisers will be interested in buying the signal. Until then, it doesn't matter what the news is, good, bad, indifferent. It's irrelevant. If people aren't watching, no one's going to buy it.
And Waleed, I mean, it's not even clear that the backers of this channel care if anyone, you know, how many people show up and watch. They have billions and endless dollars behind the network. It is funded, like you said, by Qatar, so they don't need to turn a profit. They don't really care if advertisers come, or do they?
Look, the experience that we had over the past decade and a half with Al Jazeera Arabic, at least, is that it funds itself. It has all the companies, the oil company, the gas company, the other water companies of Qatar that publicize, that give them those advertisements. I am not sure what their strategy is going to be for an American marketing.
Well, then it sort of raises the question. I mean, if they aren't after profit because they don't need it, then what are they after? Why would they do it? Bruce, you want to take a stab at that?
Well, you could wonder, and you could ask if it's about presenting an ideology and promoting that ideology, or you could say that this is some part of a longer-term process. It's a bit ironic to talk about this on Fox when you think about in 1996. Fox didn't have very many advertisers either, and wasn't even in New York until 1998. Now, 15 years later, you're the #1 news channel on the network. So if this is a long-term strategy, and they have plenty of money behind them, which they do, then we may be looking at something that's going to happen over a longer window than just when they open the doors and when they start broadcasting.
That's a great point, though, Waleed. News Corp is always in the business of trying to make money. They have public shareholders. It is very clear why they would open another channel and branch into a new market or buy a business, because in the long term they want to make money. And I think that is the concern here, is that with this group, they don't need to make money, and television is probably not their most promising revenue stream by a lot. So that's what brings into question, why are they doing this? Is that fair?
I think what our colleague has mentioned is really the key. It's an ideological project. It's a political project. It can be compared on a media level with probably RT America, Russia TV America, or BBC America, but there is something more to it. Most likely, they're going to try to project into domestic issues that have to do with national security, with Arab and Muslim communities, and this is their bet, if that they're going to be popular with those communities, but very limited if we're talking about marketing.
Well, you know, they say, Bruce, I was reading a lot about this today in the New York Times and elsewhere, and they were saying that they want to focus on American stories in America. They have hired a ton of American journalists that we all know. So it sort of begs the question also, Why are they doing this? I mean, are they pitching to a Muslim audience in America, or are they just trying to be another NPR, another, news channel like the other ones that are out there? What do you think?
Well, needless to say, I don't know what's behind their strategy.
Yeah.
However, you could look at it a lot of different ways. They could be looking at building a message that begins to mainstream the Muslim experience in the United States.
Interesting.
No different than shows have been doing with the LGBT audience and with other audiences, where you begin to mainstream a minority audience and people just get more and more used to hearing their side of the story. They also could be looking to build an ideological platform, or they could be looking to build a long-term business platform. You mentioned that the American journalists or the American newscasters are going there. Remember, they're paid to go there.
Right.
So it makes sense for some of them to go. However, the ad sales guys, the commission-based salespeople, they're eat-what-you-kill kind of people. They're not going to move until they know they can make money there. And by the way, ads don't sell themselves. So if you don't have people on the streets with the connections and the abilities to sell the ads, you're not going to have advertisers buying them. I don't think it's a draw a line in the sand issue. I think it's a bottom line issue.
Very interesting one to watch. Gentlemen, thank you both for your insights. Good stuff.
Thank you, Melissa.
Next on Money.